This episode of Misery Hunters is brought to you by Paisley Craft Beer Co., Paisley's #1 and only craft beer venue. You can sit in and take away, and we've also just introduced a local delivery service. So if you live in the Renfrewshire area and are looking for craft beer, we can deliver the same day if you order before 1 o'clock. Next day delivery is well for any time after that. Minimum order is £20. Any orders over 60, you get free delivery. So what are you waiting for? Go to paisleycraftbeer.com. That's paisleycraftbeer.com. Hello, you miserable bastards, and welcome to the Misery Hunters podcast. My name is Jamie Coburn, and joining me is Andrew Christie.
Hello.
Craig Devine.
Hello.
And Sam Smith.
Hola.
It's time, essentially, for the season preview, where we make predictions and you can tell us how shite they are later on in the season. Or how great we are, because I'm pretty sure I'm always spot on. Anyway. First question. Andrew, we'll go to you first. Just the final position. Where are we finishing this season?
I don't know. It's a weird one because I feel like everybody out with the clubs tipped us for relegation, and personally, I don't think we'll be near it at all.
Nah.
I've got us. I might say sixth, to be honest. I think it might be between maybe us and like a Ross County or a Livy for sixth. So I can see us finishing in that top six position, but ended up on a lower points total than seventh, eighth, maybe ninth as well. But I don't think the league will be quite as close as it was last year, like that glob that they called it. But yeah, I kind of back us, to be honest. I think we've got more to us than a lot of people are giving us credit for. I don't think it's a given that we'll be struggling at all. So yeah, I think I say sixth.
You Keanu backers?
Keanu backers, yeah. The pun gift that keeps on giving, that boy.
Craig?
I'm going to kind of back out of giving us putting a specific number against the position. I'm cheating already. I probably come in similar to where Andrew is, so top half-ish, seventh, maybe sixth, but I don't really want to kind of put my name to we're definitely finishing top six or we're finishing just out of it. It might be one of these seasons that we just kind of miss it a wee bit. I do think that obviously the top two is set, Hearts finishing third. Hopefully they split the Old Firm at least in, and I think after that probably anything is maybe up for grabs. Aberdeen aren't going to be as bad as they were last season, so you'd imagine they'll be there or thereabouts as well, unfortunately. But yeah, I reckon maybe kind of middle of the pack. And similar to Andrew, I don't think it's going to be the same as last season where you've got, 8 teams, I think it was, like fighting it out as hard as they could to not finish in the top six.
Sam?
If I was doing a season review for any other team that had just lost to Arbroath and Airdrie and didn't get out the group stage, I'd probably be tipping them to finish 11th or 12th. But I'm going to, unlike Craig, I'm going to put a number on it. I'm going to say we're going to finish 5th.
5th? Oofed.
Aye, but based on absolutely nothing other than just hope. But I don't think we're going to be as bad or anywhere near as bad as anyone seems to think we are. I think a lot of people seriously underestimate how good a manager Stephen Robinson is at this level and kind of operating in our sort of budget. He's done really well with Motherwell. He signed really well the players that come up for England. Like, I just think people need to chill it a wee bit, lay off the abuse. Like, I know he's no Jack Ross. I know he didn't go to the bank house and have a couple of pints, so like, you're allowed to like him. He's a fairly likeable guy. I do kind of think we might surprise a few people this season. I mean, everyone tipped Ross County to go down last year. I think me included. I think I had Ross County having a Gretna-like season, and they did lose the first 10 games last year. I think that was the first 9 or 10 games, and they finished up okay. So we'll see what happens.
Mm-hmm.
I also think not to give kind of credence to the interview that Robinson did with the Record the other day, where he said that
I was about to
the
bring
League
that up
Cup
as well.
wasn't set up for Premiership teams, because it was a lot of nonsense. But the point he made about the football that we played in that group stage not really being representative of how we look to play, like there was a point there, as much as what he said was stupid, and it makes for good headlines and like awesome are going to be the banter club, etc. But we're not going to be playing many games where a team sits back against us, and we're not going to try and break down a low block. We're going to be looking to get kind of in behind teams. So in that regard, we won't be as bad as we were in the League Cup, because it's totally different football. So while I'm not defending not getting out of that group at all, because like that should have been bare minimum get out of the group.
Oh, 100%.
I think we could. The people that are writing us off based on that League Cup, I think, could be in for a bit of a surprise.
Yeah, because the headline itself just was an absolute heap of shite. But I think the underlying, words, especially with regards to not being able to rotate as much as you would like in those kind of competitions compared to pre-season, there is a valid point there. But the headline and the complaint of it being set up against top flight teams is just an absolute car crash.
Yeah, it doesn't really help when you're trying to get some of the fans on your side and you've come out with something ridiculous as that. It doesn't really help. But back to the point, I have us 7th, and I think we're going to miss out on the top 6 by goal difference again.
Who are we going to miss out to?
We're going to miss out to Motherwell.
Oh, don't say that.
It's unfortunate, but it's going to happen. We don't, like, when you look at our Facebook pages, we do not deserve victories or achievements. It's, like, karma is not on our side.
If you listen, Jamie, as the post said today, if you can't support us when we're losing, don't support us when we're winning.
Aye.
You can't handle me at my worst, whatever fucking Marlon and Will said, and your aunt's Facebook memes.
Why can't we just all live, laugh, love? That's,
I would rather that than that.
Cross that.
I would rather that than that absolute fucking car crash Facebook page.
At least it's positive for a change.
Well, Murn's top goal scorer this season, I'm going to guess very similar. I'll just quickly jump. I'm going to say Ayunga. I mean, unless something seriously wrong happens or we end up with millions of penalties and O'Hara becomes our top goal scorer, I can't see it being anybody else, especially after, like, I mean, he scored 4 goals and he's like one of the top goal scorers in the Betfred Cup, and we had an absolute fucking mare in it. So I think it's a safe bet that it's probably going to be Ayunga, and I think he will impress a lot of people. I think it's going to be a very similar thing to why have I forgot his name? Who was the top goal scorer at Ross County last season?
Reagan Charles Cook.
I reckon it's going to be something similar to that, and then there'll be like loads of teams in for him.
He scored quite a nice variety of goals in the League Cup as well, like right foot, left foot, headers. Was it the goal against Linfield where it was kind of edge of the box that he kind of fashioned out of nothing as well? So I think, like, when you listen to Robinson talk about him, Robinson rates him incredibly highly. So yeah, I'm quite excited about him, to be honest. Excited to see what he does.
My bet is Brophy.
Oh.
And I know Ayunga has a 4-goal head start, but I think if we're going to play a 3-5-2 or a 3-4-3 or whatever, I still think regardless, Brophy's going to be the one that's going to be in the middle, and Ayunga will be pushed out wide to accommodate him, or when he's in if the two of them start up front at the same time, I think Ayunga will be the one doing the donkey work for Brophy. I think obviously the bit of Ayunga's got 4 goals in 4 games is a very good return for any striker. I know some of them are against plumbers and van drivers, but it's a good start. But I do think if Brophy can hopefully get yourself fit maybe 2 or 3 games into the season, 4 goals isn't really too much to catch up if you start putting your chances away like we know he probably can, and just hasn't really the chance to do.
Mm-hmm. I went for Ayunga as well, like Jamie. Weirdly, he's not scored that many goals over his career. Like, I think he's described as a bit of a winger, but I think he's played more games up front, I'm sure. But he's got 4 in the League Cup, scored against Linfield as well. Like Andrew said, it's a good kind of variety of goals. Yeah, I'm basing that on absolutely nothing because I've barely seen us in pre-season at all or in the League Cup. But yeah, I just think there's maybe something about him, and despite the fact that 4 goals across 4 games looks like it's the best form of his career, I think he's probably likely to hit double figures. I'm going to go out there and say he'll hit double figures this season. That prediction, along with the rest of mine, by the way, are just completely wild and baseless. So just be ready for it.
I mean, that's the tagline to this podcast: wild and baseless.
Well informed.
Positivity hunters, we should be called now.
Yeah. Andrew, are you going Ayunga as well?
Ayunga as well, yeah.
Ayunga as well.
Yeah.
I'm keeping notes just so we can go back to this without having to listen to it all again to figure out what the predictions were. So I'm writing these down. So Sam could take the lead on this if we finish 5th with Brophy as our top goal scorer.
Wow, what a year that'll be.
Player of the year. Craig, we'll go to you first for this. Who do you reckon will play the player of the year?
I just want to be different from everyone. I want to say Ryan Strain.
Whoa, okay.
Again, for absolutely nothing other than he had a lot of the idiotic element in the support on his back after one game when he's barely played at all for months. What I've seen, he's been absolutely fine, and I don't know what it is. You probably tell me I'm being stupid, but there's something that kind of, in a weird way, makes me think of when Keith Watson ended up winning the Player of the Year for us that year, that it was pretty much the only choice.
Yeah.
I hope it's not that kind of scenario this season, but I fancy the idea of this kind of marauding guy up the right wing, just like scoring a barrel full of goals or punting in a number of assists. I knew that everyone else was probably going to go for a different player. If I'd seen Bacchus maybe play more than 75 minutes to the level he did at the weekend when he just stepped off a plane, he might have been my shout, but I don't want to really kind of put that on him after less than one full game.
No, that's fair enough. Sam?
Told you it was right out there.
The polar opposite of, but I have seen I don't know, like 75 minutes of Bacchus, and I can already tell he's going to be the best player in the league. But I do think he'll be. He's my shout for player of the year. I think based on a kind of 75, 80 minute appearance, I thought he looked really good. He looked really sharp, as Craig said. I mean, he got off the plane just a few days before, and he was all over the place. He's a really good winner of the ball as well as getting forward. His passing was pretty accurate, apart from one in the first half that I think he gets shouted at by a couple of the fans for. That doesn't really shock me. I'm amazed he didn't get abused more, to be honest. But no, I think as far as a box-to-box midfielder goes, he seems to have it all, and he's my shout. I'm really looking forward to seeing more of him.
Mm-hmm. Andrew?
I'm going to go, probably surprises nobody, but I'm going to go fully on board for the Ethan Errehorn redemption arc this year. I know he would qualify for Young Player of the Year, but there's others who I'd kind of rather talk about for that one. But with Errehorn, I mean, we've covered it fairly in depth recently, so subscribe to the Patreon, read the blog if you want to find out why I think Ethan Errehorn will be the Player of the Year.
I like it.
Plugs.
I like plugs.
Plugs, baby.
Young Player of the Year makes it a bit interesting because under Goodwin, he categorically didn't give Youth a chance other than Henderson that kind of forced him to. So Henderson kind of swept up on these awards. It gives us something different to look at. I also realised I didn't say who I think my Player of the Year will be. I think it'll be Mark O'Hara. I think a steady player in the midfield, Scott Parker type, where he won everything at West Ham. That's what I'm going for, Mark O'Hara. But Young Player of the Year, I mean, I think it's going to be Kieran Offord. I think he's going to make a big impact on a few games coming off the bench where he'll actually force his way into the first team. And I think he's going to make some very important goals, and I think he'll get the nod. But we'll go to Sam for your Young Player of the Year.
I am on the same boat as you, Jamie. I'm going to go for Kieran Offord. I think if he gets to run at some of the defenders in this league, whether he's going to maybe play out left or come in off the right or play through the middle, he will probably terrify defenders because he's so keen. And I know, obviously, again, we're talking about the standard of the team he was playing against at the weekend, but in every time you've seen him, he's so willing to take folk on. He's really, really sharp. He maybe lacks a wee bit of physicality, but I think he's a 17, 18-year-old boy. Like, that's perfectly natural. You're not going to get guys that are going to be throwing 30-year-old guys about that they're not there, but his footwork's really good. He seems to get himself in the right positions. I think he was unlucky maybe not to grab himself a goal on Saturday there as well. He managed to jink in the box. I think he cut one back for somebody on Saturday after doing a couple of step overs when he cut in off the left. But I think he'll pop up with maybe 6 or 7 goals this year. Maybe get yourself a good move at the end of the season off the back of it as well. Hopefully make the club a bit of money as well. But really looking forward to seeing him in his match out.
Andrew.
I mean, I'm going to say the same again. That's not great.
It's going to be a clean sweep in it, unless Craig's got a wild card.
With everyone coming out of the club kind of talks about how good Offord is, but it wasn't kind of until Saturday there when you see him running with the ball, you just think, fucking hell, like maybe this could be a player. He seems fearless, and like any kind of rawness to his game will be kind of smoothed out by Robinson by game time against men. And yeah, it's really, really excited about him. Was it Ross in the group chat described him as the second coming of Barry Levetti? So really, really looking forward to seeing him play.
You better watch it if he's the second coming of Barry Levetti near Ross.
I got a point of Barry Levetti in my notes as well, talking about Offord, because he's probably the first genuine forward coming through the team since Levetti, I think. But clean sweep, same for me, Offord. Don't know how much more I can add to that. Mm-hmm. It's probably quite refreshing this season, though, that we're all saying Offord, but realistically, there's at least another maybe 2 or 3 options in the team that you would think, depending how the season goes, might have a shout. So Henderson again, maybe even Reed.
Taylor,
yeah. Taylor looked great.
Taylor was very, very impressive when he came on at the weekend, yeah. Can we consider Erdogan young player anymore? 21 now. It's a bit beaten in it.
I think with the other youngsters in the team, I think it pushes him towards more being senior, especially he's played over 100 games for us now. So
games, at 21, which is mad.
Mm-hmm. No, I think he's going to be senior. Interesting one. First manager to go, to be sacked. Andrew, we'll go to you first. Who do you think is the first out the door?
I think Graham Alexander is going to be the first sacking. I think last season Motherwell were kind of the biggest benefactors of just everybody else around them kind of shiting the bed a bit. And so the likes of Aberdeen and the Hibs, I think on paper anyway, have improved their squads to the point where there's not going to be that you can just get Europe by virtue of being there. So I can kind of see Alexander's kind of brand of, I don't want to call it dog shit football because I want to be more analytic than that, but it's just turgid shit. And I can see that being left behind by the league a wee bit. And at the time of recording, they're 1-0 down to Sligo Rovers and they're going into the second leg of their European tie. They have 3 of their first 5 games in the league are away, and they don't typically travel that well. They've got a cup tie, it's Inverness, at the end of the month, which is a potential banana skin to our lower league opposition. So we could be looking at September with them out of Europe, out of the League Cup, and kind of struggling in the league. And I think we could easily see them kind of pulling the trigger on him at that point. Although I would quite like him to stay, because I've always thought Alexander has an absolute meltdown in him, like proper kind of.
Like when he melted down against us because our dugout was too noisy.
Yeah.
The one that Lee Evan got assaulted in the box.
Yeah.
Right.
So yeah, Graham Alexander for me.
Craig.
I've gone for Callum Davidson, which would have probably been the obvious choice had Motherwell not lost to Sligo last week, just for the reason that they finished last season pretty dreadfully. I don't think there's a single St John's fan that would be sad to see Davidson get sacked, which is baffling considering they won them a cup double the season before last. But just looking purely at who's left over the past kind of few months and who they've signed, it seems as if their recruitment strategy is exclusively who's over 30 and a wee bit past it. I mean, I know they've signed a couple more players today. I think they seem to have like about 9 centre halves all of a sudden. I think the boy they signed on loan from Millwall today does have a bit of kind of pedigree about him, but every other signing I've seen come in the door, the likes of Jamie Murphy, Carey, Considine, Jay Wright, people who were good 2 or 3 seasons ago. I know Jay Wright's still kind of under 30, but yeah, for the absolute dross they've signed, I'd be expecting him to get the bullet September, October time. I think it's probably a straight shoot between him and Alexander.
It's very similar to Football Manager when you've just been relegated into like the Scottish Championship. You have no money to get players, and you're just like, fuck it, who's free? And then you put the age list at the top, so you're not with all the youngsters, and you're like, right, he can do a job. And that's exactly.
There's a bunch of 30-plus-year-old free agents. Just sign him.
Sam.
Lee Johnson.
Oof.
For me. I think it's going to be a very similar kind of situation that they had with Maloney. They're going to give the same as what they've done with Maloney. Give the guy a window, let him spend a fortune, and then they're probably going to realise in a month or two's time that his face doesn't fit. They're probably. I don't think they'll do well. I think they really seriously did try and win that group stage of the league. I really think they went all out to try and win that group, and were really, really poor, bar one game against Clyde. So I do think they'll struggle. I don't think he's got a particularly great record as a manager other than his spell at Bristol City. So I just don't see I don't really see their squad. I don't think their squad's any better than it was last year when Jack Ross was in charge. And I think that guy, is it Ron Gordon? He's a bit of a lunatic, and I think he'll pull the trigger early if they're struggling.
No, I think he might pull the trigger and look to Rangers, to his idols, and try and bring in Roy Mackay after his comments today, how advanced Scottish football more than any other club. Aye. I don't even know the context. The headline alone is just mad.
He seems a bit of a Fruit Loop. I'm going for something that could be slightly controversial, but I think it's not without the realms of possibility of a total meltdown from the other side of the capital at Hearts, and Robbie Neilson gets the bullet in January. I think he's brought in some really good players. I'll say that. Like, there's some brilliant players in there. So the pressure is on him to start like producing a bit more, doing better in the cups, doing whatever. Like, I reckon they'll be out at Europe early doors. They will be out the cups early doors. I can see a few of these big names not turning up. I mean, Shankland has yet to properly prove himself in the top league. Like at Dundee United, like he had a bit of a stop-start season. It wasn't the greatest. Went to Belgium. Again, team get relegated. He's came back. I think that might fall on its head.
I think as well with Hearts, am I right in saying they've got guaranteed European football till Christmas?
I think
till Christmas.
Yeah.
So I just don't think any club can out with the Old Firm will be able to sustain that. And like Hearts pretty much had third place wrapped up last season by Christmas.
It was done.
Even then, their fans were getting on Nielsen's back kind of February, March time. So all it takes is a wee bad run of games, and that could happen again. Like, for what it's worth, I do take the point about Shankland, but I don't think he's ever had somebody like Barry Mackay supplying him. So I think Shankland probably will do quite well, but I just think Europe, like Thursday, Sunday will prove a bit much for Hearts maybe, and I can see them kind of tailing off in the league. So yeah, I think Nielsen getting the boot isn't out with the realms possibility at all.
I think like Hearts are one of those teams, and we've seen it before, where they can go from comfortable third place, best of the rest, to bottom of the league. With like, they've got good players in there, but like I reckon we're going to see a shit show To be fair, I was either going to do a toss-up between him or Giovanni Van Bronckhorst, thinking that, but I think the Rangers might do a bit better in Europe this year, and that'll keep him his job. So, I mean, not a bit better in Europe, but better in Europe compared to the league, is what I meant to say. Because, I mean, they hit the final. Being better would be winning it.
I think you've got a good point about Nielsen, because there is Hearts fans that genuinely do think they should be competing for the league, which is fucking insane. I genuinely reckon that Hearts' wage bill must be like at least 15% less than what, like 15 times less spent than what Rangers and Celtic spend. Like Hearts, the highest paid player must be in what, in like 6 or 7 grand a week. That's a shitey squad player at Rangers, but that's somebody like fucking Scott Wright. That's probably what he's on. So, there's no way Hearts are closing the gap. But I think Robbie Nielsen was under mad pressure at the start of this year.
Yeah, it happens every year. At every club he's at, he had the pressure on him at Dundee United. He's had the pressure on him every season at Hearts. I reckon he might be gone. Yeah,
because I think Hearts went 6 games out a win before they played us just after Goodwin left. It was Robinson's first game and they got a win, but he gets a mental amount of stick off a Hearts fans for a guy who's won them the championship at a canter twice and took them to a 3rd place finish and got them into Europe twice. So
the only thing...
You can't really put your finger on exactly what it is, other than maybe just the style of football he plays and like too lofty expectations. Because, like you say, like they've kind of got unrealistic expectations of challenging for the like top spot and actually competing for winning the league, which would be a real dilemma. Because I think every club outside of the old firm would like to see. So, of course, you'd like to see another team win it, but then if you go, it's Hearts.
I mean, it could be Morton up there. I'd happily still, if someone could get outside the old firm, I'd be more than happy. Like, I know, like the following season, I know Andrew's shaking his head, but the following season it'd be absolutely unbearable, but it'd still be quite nice to see. But the only thing the only thing that kind of ruins my prediction that Robbie Nielsen is in Budge and stuff can be very, very patient. I mean, Craig Levein should have been out of that club way before he actually was, and that will probably be maybe saving grace. But
to be fair, they weren't patient when they punted Jack Ross at the door for shagging a physio. So
allegedly,
cut that.
Nah, allegedly.
Have to add that in.
Yeah. If we say allegedly, we're all good. I mean, no one from Hearts lawyers or Jack Ross is going to listen to this. I mean, maybe one of his fanboys will like grasses in or something, but it would need not to be true for him. I mean, allegedly.
Go out and there's maybe 1 or 2 Hearts fans that happen to listen to it and start tweeting us mountains of abuse, which I'd love. It'd be great.
I mean, the winners. Who do you think is going to be the winners? I'm just going to say it's probably going to be Celtic this year again.
Yeah, by a fair margin, I think.
Celtic, but do we really give a fuck?
No.
Right, that's a clean sweep. Moving on. The fun part: who's getting relegated?
St
Johnstone.
St Johnstone.
I'm going to go different in that case. I think St Johnstone is the obvious choice, but I can see them kind of emptying Davidson around Christmas time, and then they'll go on their sort of customary post-Christmas run and maybe make the playoffs. So I think Kelly could be the ones to be in 12th place. Looking at the way they've recruited, I don't think they've massively improved on a squad which, to be honest, kind of made a meal of winning what was a pretty poor championship last year. Like, it went down to the wire. It should have been, the resources and the players they had, it should have been done and dusted well before it was, but I just don't think they've improved that much, and I can see them being there and thereabouts, definitely. I think obviously they've got Kyle Lafferty, who, as much as I don't particularly like the guy, he's one of the best strikers in the league on his day, but I also don't think he'll have it in him to be arsed for a full season. He's kind of more of a, I'll come in February and save these and then walk off into the sunset kind of thing. I don't know if he's kind of got the stones to do that for a season. So yeah, I think Kelly would be my choice, to be honest.
I really reckon it's going to be a toss-up between the two. one of the things that we've always said, like especially when it comes to our league, is you need a good goalkeeper, like someone who's solid. They both don't. Like and one other thing about Kelly is Callum Waters is still their left back.
Brad Lyons is their right wing back.
I was going to say, so it's basically Kyle Lafferty just towing an absolute caravan full of duds.
Essentially.
Although apparently the right wing back they have from Arsenal was very good at the weekend. I can't. His name escapes me, but yeah, apparently he was very good at the weekend.
Mm-hmm.
If he gets injured, it is Hodgson McLock though. So
aye, true. And it looks like we've got someone else joining us, but is our camera on? What's happening? Oh, it's Mark.
Hey, there he is.
fucking put your t-shirt back on.
It's that way.
Aye, nips o'clock.
Hi, so
I was down at Irvine Moor there finding Dave Cormack with a roast chicken, a bag of cans, and a fishing rod.
well, before I move on to the next question, Mark, we're going to do a quick fire round with here, so we don't need any explanation behind your choices. Where are we finishing?
Ninth.
Oof. Jesus, maybe we do not. Who's our top goal scorer?
I mean, the obvious answer is Joe Shaughnessy, but I'll say Ayunga.
Ayunga.
Hey.
Who's your player of the year?
Erehon.
Oh, same as Andrew. Who's your young player of the year?
Kieran Offord.
Oh, still the clean sweep everyone said offered. First manager to get sacked?
Assuming he's not been sacked in the time it took me to go on the podcast, I'll say Callum Davidson.
The winners of the league?
No, Celtic.
And where we're up to is who's getting relegated. And you can explain this one a wee bit if you want, depending on what your answer is.
Callum Davidson, and then I'm assuming Jim McIntyre's St Johnstone.
No, that is fair enough. And it seems like you've timed it perfectly because we've came up to the question I think everybody's waiting for, and I want to go to Sam's first because he built it up. Or should we go to Sam last? We'll go to Mark first?
I'll go first.
Right, okay, Sam first.
I guarantee he'll be playing in Europe next year.
That's not that much of an out.
And it's whether it is the minimum of finishing fifth or that we win a cup, but I guarantee we're playing European football in the summer next year.
Jamie, make sure you underline the word guarantee.
Guaranteed.
Aye, put it in caps.
Put it in caps. Guarantee we're playing European football.
Right, Craig, what's your outlandish bold claim?
It's not really in football related. So Rylan to be, for some reason, the guest of honour at a St Mirren game at some point this season, and he ends up on a night out in Paisley.
Rylan and Vienna's? Oh.
Goes to the Bankhouse or Vienna's and recreates the Gary McKenzie night. And it will be the biggest celebrity incident to hit Paisley since Marshawn Lynch nearly get knocked down on a BMX.
I like it. Andrew, what do you think?
Well, I kind of touched on it earlier, but I think there's kind of discontent brewing in Motherwell. I can see Kieran Dyer, Lee Boyer style on the pitch punch-up between Alexander and probably Kevin Van Veen. You know, stripped to the waist, oily boy fight in the centre circle. I think we're overdue it in Scotland, to be honest. So, yeah, that more than what I want to happen rather than what I think will happen, but aye.
Would you reckon we'd win that?
I think Van Veen.
Aye, definitely. Yeah.
I think Alexander looks like a proper hard bastard.
I think Alexander's got the kind of the junkie fucking wild dog about him.
The drinks alone and a Weatherspoons kind of look.
Yeah. Like the clothes that are clearly too big for him. And was he once that size, or was that just the clothes he could get?
To be fair, he only ever wears the one All Saints outfit every week. Ever. So
before we go to Mark's, and I'll come in with mine. I have two. Like I said, that we're going to see Erehon is going to score one from the halfway line. I know we've got it. I know. I think I could. And the one I did write and thought, I don't know, was I reckon we're going to see a massive riot at an Old Firm between fans. I think we've not had anything in a while. The way everyone's talking on social media, I reckon that it's going to explode. The SNP will get the blame for it for some weird reason, but it's going to be mud. There's going to be like 8 dead.
The battle of time all over again.
It's going to trigger the riot.
It's going to be something 100% ridiculous. It's going to be like someone throwing a tricolour from one stand to the other or something like that, or something stupid. It's going to be like
the first Old Firm following the death of the Queen.
Oh my God.
It's going to be that, right? You're going to get a drunk Celtic fan on the pitch, and that's just how it's going to blow over.
It'll be a war zone. Fuck. To be fair, that is kind of like a bit of a lottery, isn't it? Who gets the first game against Rangers after the Queen's died?
Oh,
Yes.
Oh, I hope so.
I'd happily take relegation if I could get that game. Wait, I've immediately changed my mind. Oh, fuck it, I would. That's a once in a lifetime opportunity. That
Can be arranged.
So, Mark, what's your outlandish claim?
I think that either Joe Shaughnessy or Declan Gallagher will outscore Tony Watt in the league this year.
I don't think that's outlandish. I think that's plausible.
if we can figure out how to take corners, Declan Gallagher could get a few.
Is the Taylor on?
I think Keith Lasley will appear in the dugout at some point this season.
Oh.
And I think there's an outside chance that Phil, the announcer, might sit in his seat for an entire game and not run down to the front to have a wee shout at the linesman.
That's a good one for you, left back.
Rin, tin, chin.
What are we? Are we your like fluid boys or something like that? Is that what we?
Gurleys.
Oh,
Gurleys, I think.
You're the girlies. Yeah,
right.
I'm Mr. Fluids apparently.
Aye.
There's about 6 people that would probably know the context of this, but let's not explain it.
Just go to Twitter.
Or start a Twitter account by the name Mr. Fluids and use a picture of Mark.
If you use one of those AI generators that like creates pictures, if you just type into that sad old moron who used to be announcer at Clubby Supports, now just talks shite about other genders on Twitter, I think it just generates his Twitter account. Love you.
Apparently he's a massive climate denier as well, so.
Oh, nice.
Mm-hmm. But that's less said about him. We will be back after this.
Hi, I'm Alex Grieve, and you're listening to Misery Hunters.
Thanks, Alex. Looking forward to talking to him at a later date. Anyway, you said you were out finding Mr. Cormack. Is he with you now?
Yeah, he's just sorting himself out. We'll just be a second. He's definitely not just scrolling through his phone for the first time since last week to make sure what hot takes there are.
Right, cool. I'll buy time by saying you should head to patreon.com/misery hunters. The season does start this weekend, so we will be. I mean, we probably should have talked about that match maybe before Dave Cormack came in. We're playing Motherwell on Sunday. Predictions.
I think we'll get pumped.
It's like Kenny
So Kenny McIntyre appears to have joined Craig, if you're wondering what's happening at home.
It's all gone wrong.
I might have to put myself on mute because Dave's absolutely raging at the sight of Kenny McIntyre.
I reckon I'll go bold and a bit positive. I'll say 2-0. Ayunga and Gallagher to get the goals. Mm-hmm. And touching on Andrew's point about set pieces earlier, I reckon this might be the year we finally crack how to be good at set pieces, because I don't know how the fuck you can be bad when you've got a striker who's 6'4" and a centre back who's 6'6". So.
Well, Where there's a will, there's a way. And if they've got a 5-foot defender, you know they're winning that header.
Aye.
I reckon we're going to win. I reckon it'll be 2-1. And I reckon Gallagher's going to score the winner in the 92nd minute. And then he's going to willy-copter the Motherwell fans.
So then people might die.
Aye. If rumours are to be believed, the planes would be falling out of the sky. No, I feel quite positive at Sunday, to be honest. I think I'm going to go 2-0 as well. I think I'd be surprised if we see Bacchus start, but a Bacchus goal and, Gallagher. It's written in the stars.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be pessimist and I will go 1-0 O'Hara.
I think kind of 1-0, 2-1's probably where it will be. We've got form for looking shite before the start of a season and then taking a couple of goals off some other shite team because in the inevitable meltdown we've forgotten that everyone else is shit too. And there's it's not as if we're one side of a coin here. So
we're going to beat Motherwell and we'll all be shouting for our passports to get out again. So that's
pretty sure.
But anyway,
Declan Gallagher, Joe Shaughnessy, 1 goal apiece. Tony Watt, none.
Is Dave get his data ready?
Yeah, I'll just call him in. Hello, everybody. Hello to everyone except Kenny McIntyre, the prick. These are your shite takes of the week. There we go. I've given the people what they want. Cheers, Dave.
Genuinely my favourite thing.
I'll pick it up from here. The first one is a threefer. It's genuinely beautiful. We've got, depending on whether he's a realist or if he's got ideas above his station like Jamie, either Scott Cockburn or Coburn in the Facebook group. Who's posted a picture of, I think, just people in the Middle East firing guns into there.
It's not. So Scott Coburn is my dad, and
good man.
And it's a mad. He lives in Spain, and it's one of the Spanish parade things that are shooting guns into.
Right, okay. Well, he's the lightest of the three, and hi Scott, thanks for listening. Saying that new Simon dressing gowns are coming soon because the happy lads with their rifles are wearing black and white. He's the third on the list, so he's fine. He gets away with that. Top comment, Brian McGinty, but not that one. Are the guns for the manager?
Is that 3 for 3? I think he's been in all of Dave's data.
Has he? Yeah. Good man. That's more than Brian McGinty's ever had a hit rate at any point in his career. And second, this is potentially better, but I still don't really understand it. Peter Hamilton. Do not like them, but like the idea of the free gun. What to do with the gun? Do we have crime of passion in this country? So, if Stephen Robinson turns up, or anyone that Peter Hamilton knows turns up, rifled, then that might have to be submitted in evidence. So,
do we have crime of passion in this country? No, but we do have a thing called punctuation, and you should maybe look it up.
You tell him, Andrew. You tell him, Andrew.
Thanks, Dave.
Cheers. GHAM 1877 said something fairly tame, and after that was told to stop you talking a lot or shite by Paisley International Airport. So if you've managed to fuck off an entire airport, then
we should also say happy birthday to GHAM 1877. I'm sure he said his birthday today. So
because we're fans.
Yeah, we're all real fans. We're not fake fans.
Game, so I can't talk to him anymore. So happy birthday.
Happy birthday, and continue having the entirety of the Gammon Simon Facebook fan base on strings.
Aye.
I think what he was really looking for was a happy birthday wish from Dave.
Happy birthday, Graham, you prick. There we go. Job done. Simon Bill had a go at the SLO on Twitter because his wife couldn't take confectionery into the ground. Just buy a Twix in the ground, Bill. Calm down. The pies at our ground are maybe the single best thing about the club, but not if you ask Thomas Sanderson. who said that his brother paid £2.50 for a pie at the game yesterday, which is a full pound off current prices.
Mm-hmm.
He had to ask the girl in the first aid room to resuscitate it, and when he threw it away, a seagull refused to eat it. Lol. Fuck up.
That's good banter.
Then someone else said you need a mortgage advisor before entering the queue. It's good to know that the line that you draw isn't £22 for a single game or £350 for the year to get in, or the price of the petrol that got you there. It's the fact that a pie costs £3.50. Better in, Paul. Last but not least, and firmly deserving of his place in here, I don't know if you have already mentioned this, is one Stephen Robinson.
We touched
for
on
claiming
it.
For claiming that the Premier Sports Cup is set up against the Premiership sides because we've got too many players to choose from. Eat shit, Stephen.
You said last but not least, but I think Dave has forgot one, and I'll just happily add this in. Connor Ryan, who said 26 quid for Aberdeen and 28 for Dundee United. Fucking hell, absolute sickening. That's fine. That is high ticket prices. Then followed it up with, all the money I would have spent on away games with ticket money, paying the bus and drinks, I'm now going to save and get down to Newcastle home games instead because fuck that. So rather than support your team away, you'll spend probably more money giving it to the Saudis.
For what is a different away game if you live in Paisley?
It's an odd take. Say, but yeah.
Dave's just elbowed me in the ribs. There's a couple that I missed apparently. Alan Gregg on Facebook, is Kilty injured because he's not even on the bench, forgetting that Kilty kicked the head clean off someone's shoulders 2 nights before and was maybe suggested. We've also got someone on Twitter quite rightly asking for signatures on a petition to prevent Flamingo Land opening, one of their doomed theme parks on the banks of Loch Lomond. And so just to clarify, that's Flamingo Land, right? As if anyone cares about that at all. And Billy Gray said that the jury's out for him because, you know, it would be good to have attractions like this because it would start bringing flights back into Glasgow from the USA.
What?
As if little charity in Chad in downtown Michigan are getting told by their parents that they're getting on a flight to Glasgow to go to Flamingo Land.
I mean, there's a Flamingo Land in
Disney World, go see the flamingos.
Yeah, there's also a Flamingo Land in Hull, and I'm pretty sure that's not attracted the Americans. They even sponsored their football team.
There's maybe the second weirdest bird-related story at St Mirren recently after the SLO was put in the call on Facebook
for an air rifle.
Call to arms.
Is that a crime of passion?
That is a seriously underrated moment of last season.
maybe your dad can send his pals with the rifles just over to take the seagulls out.
We got ashamed of the fact that we all missed that on our season review podcast and somebody had to point it out to us on Twitter. I feel really bad about that.
Yeah.
We actually have since he's free for free then, an honorary Brian McGinty Shite Take of the Week award.
He wins a gold shite take.
He's not had many great hits as Mr. McGinty.
I think this is the first week we've not mentioned Scott Stafford. So,
oh well,
congratulations, Scott.
I'm sure he'll be back.
I mean, maybe we'll get that league table up and we'll have a final winner. But on that note, patreon.com/Misery Hunters. You've got until Sunday, which is the 31st, if you want to join us to win the signed Dean Linus shirt, match worn. You've also got, if you want to join our fantasy league, that's all the details are on the Patreon and in the Discord as well. You've got till like Saturday morning to join. There will be a prize for the winner. There might be something for whatever one else come last. I don't know. We don't want to promise it because the loser always shites out of it. So it's unfortunate. But miseryhunters.co.uk for all the merch. And as always, fuck Alex Ray.
Fuck the Tories.
Fuck Larpak.
Callum Davidson.
Fuck all you girlies.